Welcome back to another live stream. Hi everyone. It's Thursday night. I hope you guys are doing fine. But before we go on any further, just want to make sure that everything is working fine. Hopefully you guys can see this video, the stream. Hopefully there's no problem with my audio. The microphone is working. There's no echo or no distortion. If it's not too loud or double voice or whatever, right? Just let me know if everything is working, or am I just talking to myself? Because recently I just watched Rob Track like a few days ago. He just went on live for like 35 minutes talking to himself without realizing that he wasn't even live. So just want to get some feedback on the chat. Just make sure everything is okay. While I'm waiting for the feedback, let me just drink some coffee. Coffee. We got some feedback already. Thank you. Thanks, Papa Gumoka. Thanks, Jeff, Dan, Andrew. As usual, I'll say hi to people first, and I will respond to members first. If you're a member, your name is highlighted in green, and you have a star badge next to your name. All right, but don't worry, I'll get to every single chat. If you're not a member, just have to wait a little bit longer. Hey Dan, how are you? Dan says, good morning everyone, recovering in bed from the minor surgery. So this is a nice way to get my mind off of that. Oh, okay. I hope everything goes well. Speedy recovery to you, Dan. Hopefully get on your feet again and go out for some shuttle therapy sessions soon. All right, thanks for the update, Dan. All right, Andrew says, good evening, Robin. Hey, Andrew, very nice to see you here. Loud and clear as usual. Let's do this. Yes, let's do this. Gregory, hey, Gregory. Hello, Robin, everyone. Audio and video are A-OK in Katy, Texas. Nice to see you again. Welcome to the stream. Asru says, good evening, Robin, everyone. Hey, Asru, how are you? Very, very nice to see you. Steve says, greetings from Florida. Hey, Steve, good to see you again. Jeff says, hey, Robin, everyone. Greetings from the UK. Very, very nice to see you. Jeff, Vipagamuka, hi. Good evening, Robin. Good evening to you too. Thanks for the update, Jeff. Thanks, Vipagamuka. Astrom says, good afternoon from Iceland. Listening to both you and Jimmy Chang live at the same time. Jimmy had to postpone his live yesterday to today. Of all the days, he has to choose today. And you know, like Rob Track, right? He goes live. Astrom, I'm sure you know, because I saw it at Rob Track's live stream. He goes live like at least 2 to 3 times per week, sometimes more, right? And he still finds a way not to clash with anyone else, right? So just saying. Andrew says, I'm also under the weather. Oh no! What happened, Andrew? Slowly recovering, and Kilmarathon is happening this weekend. Is it the standard chartered one? Is it Saturday or Sunday? Interesting. All right. Tom Prop says, hey Robin, great to see you live. Hey Tom Prop, how are you? Good to see you here. And Trill says, good morning. Good morning to you too, Antrik. Christoph says, greetings from Poland. Hey Christoph, nice to see you again. Terry says, hello from the UK. Hey Terry, very good to see you. Right, I've caught up with the chat. Let's start with some updates, but I want to drink some coffee. Coffee. Okay, so last Monday, I published a new video, and it was about this macro arm light. It's a very old accessory from Olympus from back in the day, right? It's a very cool, flexible, long arm light with LED. So there are some camera bodies that are compatible with this accessory. You need to attach it to the flat shoe accessory port. So this one is compatible with EPL7. So if I turn on the camera, you can see that the light is already turned on. You can turn it on and off individually. You can adjust the brightness level as well. Let me just try on this side. You can see there, brighter, and there's only 2 levels. So there you go. And you can like change the positions from bottom or from the top. Well, it depends on how you want to position the light onto the subject and things like that. So I brought this out to do some insect macro photography at Bukit Gasing, and it didn't work very well because I found that the light wasn't very strong. But anyways, it was a good experiment because I bought this macro arm light MAL-1 together with like a bunch of other lenses, cameras, accessories in a bundle at a very, very good price. So, and I have always been curious about this accessory. I never had a chance to try them back in the day, and now that I have it, I thought, why don't just give it a spin, right? And yeah, so it was quite a fun outing. I made a video to share my thoughts about this flexible arm light. It was on Monday. Please check it out. What surprised me though, in that video, I wore for the first time my Shutter Therapy shirt. And not even one person mentioned anything about that shirt. And here I was thinking maybe I can launch like a merchandise store or something, selling like the cap or shirt, and maybe people will be interested to buy and I can earn some extra cash to fund my Shutter Therapy sessions, right? Because hey, making videos, they cost money. So one of the ways to earn extra cash is to sell merchandise. And I thought I've been doing this for 5 to 6 years on YouTube. I've got, like almost 100,000 subscribers. Maybe people are interested to buy a shirt that says Shutter Therapy, a phrase that I coined, right? And not even one person say anything. So I guess I should really reconsider selling merchandise. It seems like it's not a very viable option. Not even one person, not even one person said anything about this Shutter Therapy shirt. And previously, I wore some of the shirts, more interesting shirts like Nasi Goreng, which was a play on National Geographic. That shirt, in that video, I think that was the EPL7 video, but I was making fun of the Fuji X-Half. In that video, I've gotten like dozens and dozens of comments asking me, hey, Robin, where can we buy that shirt? That's not even my shirt. I have nothing to do with that shirt. Right? It's just a fun shirt. Nasi goreng is a very popular dish in Malaysia, and it's just a fun play, a parody of National Geographic with the yellow rectangular logo by the side. People are more interested in that than my Shutter Therapy brand. So I thought, yeah, maybe I should just give up. The shirt was cheap. I made this custom made from Shopee. Cost only about 20-something ringgit. And you can make like small amounts of quantity. And yeah, it's microfibers, good for hot weather. I thought it was quite cool wearing Shutter Therapy, and nobody cared. So there you go. So that was the video on Monday. Please check it out if you have not done so. This coming Saturday, today's Thursday, right? This coming Saturday, there will be the Scott Kelby worldwide photo walk. And there will be a photo walk in, I think, all the major cities or major locations in the world. So, of course, in Kuala Lumpur, one of the photo walks in Kuala Lumpur will be headed by my friend, Raja Indra Putra. And you can see the pinned comment. I've already put a link there. If you are in Kuala Lumpur, if you're in Malaysia, and want to join this photo walk led by Rippy or my friend Rajendra Putra, please sign up. You have to register. I think the slots are not full yet, so you can still register. And I personally will be there in this particular photo walk. And if you want to come, you can see me. We can have a walk together. It'll be a fun outing. Taking some photographs, we're going to chill together, right? It's going to be really, really, really fun this coming Saturday. If you're not in Kuala Lumpur, not in Malaysia, don't worry. I'm sure there will be a Scott Kelby's Worldwide Photo Walk at a location near to where you stay. Just go to the official website, same link that is pinned on this chat window. Go to that link, find the location near you. I'm sure there'll be some other events happening there that you can participate. You do have to sign up and join as well, right? So that's happening this Saturday. I'm looking forward to that. I think 15 minutes ago, Rajendra Putra has just dropped the official route or the walk map for this Saturday. It'll be in Brickfields or Kel Central area. And it'll be about 5 kilometers walk. I think it's quite an extensive walk. I'm not even sure if we can cover the whole area. I'm quite familiar with this particular location, one of my usual street photography location as well. And I'm looking forward to this walk. I'm looking forward to meet some new people and say hi to some familiar people as well. So yeah, this will be this Saturday. If you have registered on the official page, you'll get some updates and emails from Rippy, and this map will be sent to you directly in your email. So anything important, any changes or locations or time or anything, any details, any updates, you'll get from the email directly from the official source, right? So please register. Okay, one more thing before I talk about today's topic. This end of this month, on 26th of October, it's a Sunday, I will be in Penang. The last time I was in Penang was, I think, 2 years or more than 2 years ago. I remember I was shooting a wedding for a friend. I think it was in September. Yeah, so it's 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, I was in Penang doing a wedding job, and I haven't been to Penang ever since. So it'll be quite cool to revisit a place. I used to go there several times a year when I worked for Olympus. That was in the year 2013 to 2017. Basically to give workshops, to do workshops, photo walks, as well as to do some trainings and some meetings with the dealers or the retailers, camera retailers in Penang. And yeah, I have to travel there several times a year, at least 5 to 6 times per year. So it was quite extensive. I go to Penang a lot back in the day, but I haven't been back there as frequently after I've quit Olympus. And yeah, the last time I went there was for a wedding job, which was 2 years ago. So I look forward to going back to Penang. Plenty of good food. And the reason I'm in Penang is to do a photo sharing session. I'll be doing a presentation for the Ricoh GR4. I've been invited by Futuromic to present at their Touch and Try event for the Ricoh GR4 in Penang. And this will be on a Sunday on 26th of October. All the details are on the poster. You can see on the screen. If you are in Penang, you want to come and join the event, it's free. All you have to do is just register. There is a QR code there. Just scan the QR code and you can put in your details. I'm sure a slot will be secured for you. So for Penang people, if you want to see me, if you want to meet, this will be the chance for you to come by and say hi. And yeah, I'll be doing my photo sharing session beyond just the photos that I've shared on my YouTube channel for the review of the GR4. It's not really a review, it's a mini review. So this time I'll talk a little bit more about what happens behind the photographs, how I compose the shots, how I plan for the shots, and how I got those shots, the photographs I've taken with the GR4. So there'll be a lot of storytelling, what happens behind the shots, behind the scenes, and I'll share as much as I can with everyone that's attending this event. All right, so this will be 26th of October. I really can't wait for this particular event. I think something different, something outside of Kuala Lumpur will always be very, very, very fun. Okay, I think that's it. That will be the photo sharing later. I do have a set of photos to share. I think before we dive into the main topic for today, which is I think quite hot, what happened to Panasonic, why they disappeared, let me just drink some coffee and get to the chat. Coffee. As usual, I will go to members chat first. Andrew says, yep, the standard chartered one happening this Saturday and Sunday. My race is on Sunday. So I'm guessing you're not going to come for the Repeats photo walk on Saturday. If you are, then I look forward to seeing you, Andrew. Oh yeah, before we go further, just want to highlight the link for the Scott Kelby photo walk. It's in the chat, the pinned chat. So for those in Kuala Lumpur, you can click on this link directly and register. Make sure it's the one that's under Raja Indra Putra. If you are not in Kuala Lumpur, you're not in Malaysia, there are other walks, other events near you. You just have to search for your location and find the right photo walk to join. All right, so there it is. That's the official link. I'll leave it pinned so that it's easy for people to search. Asru says, I saw you park at the houses part of Bukit Gasing. You saw me park. Every time I park there, I get summoned. So I end up parking the other side where there's Metal Bridge. You mean you saw me park my car? That's interesting because I don't have a car. So I shouldn't be parking anything. I went there by Grab, Asru. So I went there by Grab. Went in for like 3 to 4 hours, did my video, get my shots, and then called Grab and went home. So yeah, I did not park. Obviously, whoever you saw, that must have been someone else. Tomato says, good evening, Robin and all. Last week's live was later than usual and I fell asleep. I prepared adequately this time with some coffee. Sorry, Tomato. Last week, I attended the Xiaomi's latest launch for the new phone, the 15T series. So it ended, I think, around 7 something, and I got home around 8 something. I needed to give myself a bit more time to prepare, to set up for the live stream. So I pushed the live stream back 1 hour. Yeah, so sorry about that, Tomato. I'm glad that you are here. Dan says, I'll get one. Oh, you mean the shirt, right? Shuttle therapy shirt. Shuttle therapy shirt. Yeah. Dan says, shuttle therapy is truly important to me because that's the whole reason I started photography. So when you first coined that phrase a while back, I really resonated with it. I think it's just, I don't want to like claim ownership to that phrase. Yes, I started using that phrase. I coined that phrase. But ever since, you can find a lot of people have been using that everywhere. And maybe they heard it from me. Maybe they heard it from somewhere else. Maybe they heard from someone who heard it from me. I don't really care. I think it's the phrase that is freely used by everyone. And it doesn't really matter if I trademark it or register a copyright or something. It doesn't really matter. And to me, it's just, I want shuttle therapy to be open and free for everyone to enjoy, right? And yeah, I definitely agree with you. Shuttle therapy is also very important to me because it's the time where I just pick up the camera, go out, shoot, and don't think too much. And it's a way for me to unwind and decompress, right? And just have fun. Yeah. Astro says, truly at the moment you sat at the stairs, I didn't notice the shirt because I was more curious what tripod you use on the uneven ground. It's this tripod, Astro. If I unscrew this, it's this one. It's the Manfrotto Pizzi, I think. Yeah. Funny story. Since we have time. So this tripod, I bought it, right? And then few months later, after I've been using this was many years ago. This story happened many years ago. Few months after I bought the tripod, I bought a Sennheiser microphone. And that Sennheiser microphone came in two variants. One is just the microphone. The other is microphone with a bundle of accessories, the tripod, some cables, some clamps for smartphones and everything, right? So the microphone alone was something like $699. The bundle was like $999. So it's 300 ringgit more expensive. And I, being a cheap person as I am, I already have the tripod, right? There's no reason for me to get another one. So I went for the cheaper version. And then the seller, I think I bought it from Lazada or Shopee. Can't remember. Let's say Lazada. And the seller called me up and said, "Hey, Robin, we ran out of stock for the basic version. The bundled kit, it's going to cost you 300 ringgit more. Are you okay paying 300 ringgit more?" Then I told him, no, cancel my order. I mean, like, I can just buy from another shop, right? Why should I pay 300 ringgit more? I think like 10 minutes later, he texted me and said, "Don't worry, we didn't cancel your order. We shipped up the order to you already. The bundle is yours without paying anything extra." So I used to have two of these tripods and I gave one away to a friend. So yeah. Anyway, I thought you guys would appreciate that cool story. Andrew says, "Yeah, we'll be joining Rippy for the walk as well." Okay, that's awesome. Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday, Andrew. That'll be really cool. Gregor says, "Kelby for the walk, why is the colorful street not as nice anymore?" Because the first time I saw the street was before COVID. So when they painted the street in full color, it must have been 6 or 7 years ago. So no maintenance was done on the paint, and you know, Malaysia, it is hot and it rains a lot. So through the weathering process, the colors have faded and the colors are not as bright and as vibrant as before, right? So hope that answers the question. John says, "Nice, have fun in Penang." Hey John, how are you? It's been a while since I last saw you, John. Hope you're doing fine. We should definitely catch up one of these days for a coffee or a photo walk. Definitely. There's a lot to talk about. I'm sure from your side as well. We should really catch up. Tomato says, "Penang laksa." No, Sarawak laksa. You're talking to a Sarawakian. Don't forget that, Tomato. Nah, to be honest, I love both laksa, both Sarawak and Penang laksa. No beef here. I know like Sarawakians can get really mean sometimes. They attack Penang saying that Penang laksa is like horrible and things like that, but I enjoy both. And honestly, you can't compare. They're both so different, right? So yeah, I'll be eating some Penang laksa as well, so don't worry. Scott says, "Good morning from Orlando, Florida." Hey, Squidad, very nice to see you. I'll just say, it's my bad. I thought you drove there. I saw Min's view from the video. Was just assuming. No worries. Ryan Capture says, "Do you ever think microphotos will come up with a high megapixel sensor anytime soon?" They already have a high megapixel sensor. I've said this so many times already. Let me just find it again. Petapixel, micro four thirds, 47 megapixel sensor. Okay, there it is. So let me just open up the link from Petapixel. This was from 2019. Micro four thirds, 47 megapixel sensor. So if you haven't seen this before, raw and capture, you can check out this particular article from Petapixel. there is a high megapixel sensor for Micro Four Thirds. And I think it's not just the 47, I think there was a 30 something, 33 megapixels. There were also other different kinds of image sensors, many variants that Sony is making. Is already available. It's just whether Panasonic, OM Digital Solutions, or any other players, any other manufacturers want to use them or not. And I don't know why they chose not to use them. Yeah. Andrew says, I've asked Lumix about the future of Micro Four Thirds. They said they are not giving up on it. It's just they are putting a lot of focus on the L mounts. Not giving up. It's been more than a year, Andrew. They haven't come up with anything yet, which is very alarming, right? Malta says Olympus EM10 Mark III or ST1? EM10 Mark II? Mark II. Steve says cool shirt. But nobody's interested anyway. George says you should make a shirt saying I'll get to members first. Yeah, I'm getting to members first. So yeah, Sunny Boy says hi there from Trier. Okay, hey Sunny Boy from Trier. Fajar says maybe Lumix sees a brighter future for full frame sensors than Micro Four Thirds. In the future, Lumix will probably focus more on the S series. Here's the problem, right? They have been making the L mount cameras, the S series, right? The L mount cameras since 2018. I think they announced the camera in 2018, right? So it's been 6 years, and the market share is like as pathetic as OM Digital Solutions. And bear in mind, for Panasonic, it's both Micro Four Thirds and full frame combined, whereas OM Digital Solutions is just Micro Four Thirds. With that considered, if you look at the market share from Panasonic, it is very, very, very clear, very, very obvious that whatever they are doing with the full frame, it is not working. It is that obvious, right? Well, data is data. I can't argue with numbers. Andrew says, I noticed the shirt, but you mentioned you're not merchandising it, ma, so didn't ask. I thought they would generate some interest, right? Like people say, hey, wait, I can get that shirt, but nobody cares. So I guess not gonna merchandise after all. Sunny Boy says, thinking about getting a G9 Mark II as an upgrade to the EM1 Mark II. Is it worth it? Looking for faster and reliable continuous autofocus and better picture quality. Not better picture quality, but maybe better and more reliable autofocus. But then again, hard to say. If their autofocus is really that great, we would have heard something by now, but no. I think if you compare with what Canon and Sony can do, the Panasonic G9 Mark II is still far, 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 far behind. Okay. Serafin says, good morning. Hey, Serafin, how are you? Jimmy is messing with your time slot. Nah, not really. I think Jimmy is a nice guy. Maybe he's too busy. He has too many jobs. He can't spare any other nights to do his live stream. So he has to do it tonight. See, I'm such a nice guy, right? I'm trying to think of positive reasons why Jimmy has to clash with my time slot. So anyway, trying very hard to be nice here, okay? Sunny Boy says, how about InnoSports with the G9 Mark II? I've never shot with it, and I don't think there's any difference using G9 Mark II, EM1 Mark II, because that's what you're comparing with. I think you're gonna get about the same results. It's not gonna be a very big drastic difference, especially in terms of image quality. But in terms of autofocus, maybe G9 Mark II will be slightly better, but I don't think it'll be like worlds apart, right? Yeah. Tom Prop says, I wish Panasonic would release a very small and handy Micro Four Thirds camera which can make good video material. So maybe like a G100 but with phase autofocus and not such a heavy crop of the 4K videos. Yeah. I don't know why they crop the videos in the G100, and I also don't know why they don't put in the phase detection autofocus. And of course, don't forget, built-in image stabilization as well, right? I think with image stabilization, it's very important for vloggers or one-man crew. If you want to run and gun and just want to handhold the camera without using like gimbals or any other additional support, right? Because we are just one person, we don't want to carry too many stuff with us. So the less we have to deal with, the better. With the image stabilization, like you see the videos that I make, I only have to use one tripod when I put the camera on it for my talking head, and then for everything else, all of my B-rolls is just all handheld. And image stabilization does a great job in stabilizing all the shots, right? Small movements. I'm not saying like you chase a running dog or something with the camera, then of course the image stabilization will not be good enough. But like for small movements like panning or like follow the subject and everything, just like a little bit of movement there and here, the image stabilization can take care of that. Okay. Tom says, everything else was pretty cool with the G100, but the old Panasonic autofocus system was already outdated when it was released, unfortunately. Yeah, without the face detection autofocus, the DFD is just horrible, right? I mean, if you have worked, then Panasonic would have been sold everywhere, and they wouldn't have to start making face detection autofocus cameras or putting the face detection autofocus in their newer cameras like G9 Mark II and the GH7, right? So yeah. Niklas says, good evening from Sweden. Hey Niklas, good evening to you too. Hey Yumi, how are you? Nice to see you here. Camille says, hello from Toronto, Canada. Hey Camille, how are you? Nice to see you here. Christoph says, the OM system focuses on wildlife photography and currently specializes in it. What type of photography will convince Panasonic customers to choose Micro Four Thirds? Do you need to specialize though? I think the specialization is the one that's killing OM Digital Solutions. Like, do you know Sony Malaysia is making a bird photography event? Let me see when it is. Sony Bird Race, Fraser's Hill. Sony, Sony, who never said they specialize in bird photography or wildlife photography, and they are creating a wildlife photography event. It will be on the October 10th to 12th, 10th of October to 12th of October, which will be next Saturday and Sunday in Fraser's Hill in Pahang. And Sony is creating this bird race. Registration is 100 ringgit per person. I think there's like competition involved and things like that. Sony is creating a wildlife event. I don't hear any wildlife events created by OM Digital Solutions. So I think specializing in something is very dangerous, especially if you know you can't win. Because Canon, Nikon, Sony, they have been doing wildlife since forever, especially Canon and Nikon. And a lot of wildlife shooters still use Canon and Nikon cameras. And I don't want to get into details, who is better, who is superior, who has advantages, disadvantages. That's not going to end the full frame versus Micro Four Thirds argument. We're going to leave it for another day. But the point is, wildlife photography is not exclusive to OM Digital Solutions. Other people also play, and they're playing this game very, very well in wildlife and bird photography. Especially Sony. They created a full event where I think hundreds and hundreds of people will attend. And where does this leave OM Digital Solutions with their specialization? Again, like I said many times already, if the specialization in wildlife photography works, if it works, it would have worked by now. It's been how many years? It is not working. If it doesn't work by now, in another 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it will not work. It reminds me of my chemistry teacher in Form 4. I don't know what grade it is in the US or in the UK or school systems, but I was 16 years old in school. My chemistry teacher said we were having exams, right? At the end of the exam, it's a 1 hour long exam, written exam. And he said, stop writing, put down your pen, and submit your paper. Give me your paper. Because if you can't finish answering the questions by now, it is already the end of time, right? The end of it's the deadline. So the time is up. It's already 1 hour. If you can't finish your answers by now, even if I give you until tomorrow, you will not be able to finish the answers as well. There's no point for you to continue writing. Just stop. Same goes to OM Digital Solutions. Wildlife. If it can work, if it will work, it would have worked by now. The fact that it is not working, just look at the numbers, how miserable they are in the market share. It means that in another 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it will not work. It's as simple as that. Anyway, wise words from my chemistry teacher, right? See, some important people in my earlier days of my life. So yeah, so anyways, let me just read a few more chats. George says, my EM1 Mark II autofocus slower than EM5 Mark II. I don't know what you did wrong. My EM1 Mark II focus is way faster than EM5 Mark II. Terry says, just had news this week at a 100 megapixels Micro Four Thirds stack sensor. There's always many news things thrown around, right? It's just that whether OM Digital Solutions or Panasonic want to use them or not, the sensors are there. They are already there, right? Steve says, Lumix cameras just hit with the price increase in the US end of September. all right, because of the tariff, right? That's not Panasonic's fault. I think I think we all know whose fault that was with the price increase, right? Search says maybe Lumix will do a Micro Four Thirds version of the new frame L mount Panasonic 100 to 500. I don't know what they are doing. Again, if they want to do something like the whole year, they are quiet, right? We're going to start talking about the topic very, very soon. Andrew says, it doesn't help that the new Micro Four Thirds camera is not that cheap as well. Yeah, price is another concern, right? Yeah. Hey, Rippy, how are you? Rajendra Putra is the leader for the Scott Kelby Photo Walk in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So if you sign up, you're going to meet Rippy. Rippy is going to be your leader this Saturday, and I personally will be there as well. So Rippy says, thanks Robin for giving the heads up on the photo walk. There's still some more slots. See you there this Saturday. See you there, Rippy. Looking forward to the walk, and I think it's going to be an awesome one, and it's going to be really, really fun. And for those who have signed up, like Andrew and anyone else, I think it'll be really, really, really awesome. Yeah. Roy Capture says, what would you say a good replacement is for the 1250? I don't like it. It's not sharp and the aperture is not wide enough. Should I go primes or zoom? If you want zoom, then the logical replacement will be 12 to 40. 1240 f2.8 Pro. You lose 10 millimeters, doesn't make a big difference. You gain the brightness, constant f2.8 fix. The sharpness is insane. The close-up shooting is not as great as 1250's macro mode, but you can go really close from 12 all the way to 40, and still the magnification is still very reasonable. You still have wider ceiling. Generally, the 12 to 40 is an excellent lens. You can't go wrong. And now I've seen a lot of great deals in the marketplace, used marketplace here in Malaysia, and it goes for like, I think, $250 used. So yeah. Niklas says, I would not like to carry around one of those huge Nikon teleobjectives. You don't want to carry, but everyone else doesn't. They don't mind. And honestly, have you seen the latest Nikon lenses? You're referring to the old lenses, right? I understand back in the day, 10 years, 15 years ago, the bazookas, right? The super huge, heavy, long lenses. But newer Nikon lenses are not that large. If you really look at the newer lenses, the one that's launched within this year or last year, the telephoto lenses, they are not that huge. They are actually not that much bigger than what Micro Four Thirds are doing. Yes, I know there's 2 times crop factor, blah, 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 but all things considered, they also have more megapixels. They don't lose out, right? And they have image stabilization as well. So there you go. Gerald says, good day to you, sir. Hey, Gerald, how are you? Astrom says, last time I bought a new lens, it was the Panasonic 9 f1.7. I think they should make a new whether sealed GX8 or GX9. They definitely should make a lot of things. The point is they are not doing anything, right? So let's get to the topic. I've called out with the chat, which is awesome. Let me drink some coffee and we'll start with the topic. The reason why I'm making this live stream is because I am generally quite curious. Like, Panasonic is the major player for Micro Four Thirds, right? Without Panasonic, Micro Four Thirds is not Micro Four Thirds. In fact, the first Micro Four Thirds camera, or the first mirrorless interchangeable lens camera, was Panasonic, the G1, which was launched in 2008, before Olympus launched the first Micro Four Thirds camera in 2009, the EP1. So it was Panasonic that was the first, not Olympus. And being the first, and also over the years, they were quite instrumental in pushing the boundaries of the camera technology, innovation, and showing the world what mirrorless cameras are capable of, showing the world, paving the way, leading the path, pioneering a lot of technologies, and also being the first to really make mirrorless cameras really serious about video shooting capabilities, like the GH series, right? GH2, GH3. These cameras have been used to film award-winning documentaries. Filmmakers have used their cameras like GH3, GH4 to do some really cool projects. And they were the first to show the world that, hey, we don't need large cinema cameras to do all this cinematic work, right? Smaller cameras, in some situations, for convenience and for flexibility, can work just as well. I'm not saying that the smaller Micro Four Thirds camera, they can beat the big cinema cameras. No, that's not the point. The point is Micro Four Thirds has its place. If you want portability, if you want something that's easier to use, you want to move around a lot, there you go. Panasonic showed that even smaller cameras can give fantastic results when it comes to video. And I respect Panasonic for that. That's one of the key missing thing from Olympus back then, because it's always Olympus Panasonic, right? Whereas Panasonic excels in video, Olympus always trails behind, but it sort of balances things up. It's always been the same, right? If you want to do serious video work, you go for Panasonic. If video is not that important, then Olympus is more suitable for general stills photography. Not that Panasonic is not good in stills photography, but Olympus has some tricks, like Panasonic took the longest time to adopt in-body image stabilization, whereas Olympus has, from day one, from the first EP1, the first Micro Four Thirds camera they launched, it's always been in-body image stabilization. And then they double down on that with the 5-axis image stabilization in EM5, EM1, and it just gets better and better from there, right? And then only in G9, Panasonic started to include image stabilization, the 5-axis, and even that, like the newer cameras like I think GH4 doesn't have image stabilization. Some of the cameras don't really have it. GH5, does GH5 have? Maybe GH5 has image stabilization. I can't remember. And even some of the newer cameras, only the newer cameras will have the image stabilization. But the point is, it took Panasonic some time. And throughout the years, they have made, I think between Panasonic and Olympus, if I were to compare, Panasonic is more daring to experiment, to try new things, to really, really do something unusual. For example, GM1 and GM5. They just make the camera so tiny, like really, really tiny, smaller than Pentax Q, and put on the Micro Four Thirds mount. You can change the lens on it, right? It's so awesome. Whereas Olympus has always tried to be on the safer side of things. They are more conservative. They don't dare to try something radical or totally different. Whereas Panasonic is more daring to experiment. For example, they have the LX100, which is an amazing camera by concept, just the execution-wise, it could have been better. So I really respected Panasonic for trying all these different things. Even in terms of lenses, I think Panasonic and Olympus, they both complement each other very well. Like Olympus have some lenses that Panasonic do not have. Panasonic have some lenses that Olympus do not have. Like Olympus has the 300 f4 Pro, and then Panasonic had the 200 f2.8, so they don't really like overlap each other. Like Olympus had, say, the 17 f1.8. Panasonic doesn't have that. Panasonic had the 14 or f2.5 and 15 f4.7. Olympus doesn't have that. And you know, it's like, and Olympus has like 12 f2, and then Panasonic has a 9 f1.7. So it's like, it's good to have options, and these are all amazing lenses. And Panasonic played a really, really important role in just pushing Micro Four Thirds forward. And even the lenses are more daring, right? They have like, what was that? 10 to 25 f1.7, and then 25 to 50 f1.7 zoom with f1.7 bright aperture. So even in terms of lens making, in terms of camera making, I've always respected Panasonic for being bold, for being really, really like, just go for it, don't really care. Try first and see how things go, right? Whereas Olympus has been more conservative, they play the safe approach, they don't do anything crazy. So yeah, and it's just sad that Panasonic sort of like half gave up. They have half given up on Micro Four Thirds when they launched the L-mount camera in the year 2018 with the S series cameras, right? S1, S5, you know, S9, and they've put in a lot more effort in that direction. And I understand why they're doing it, but I also think that it's the wrong decision, and it just eroded the confidence of the market on Micro Four Thirds, because in 2018, 2019, that's where Olympus exited the business. That's where Panasonic is like went on full frame. So these are the two big players, right? One is like not putting 100% effort. The other one is gave up completely, right? So it's sort of like, it doesn't look good for Micro Four Thirds. And then like years following that, of course, I understand COVID hit. Nobody's blaming anyone on the COVID. It's nobody's fault. But after that, after COVID, right, it's like we don't get a lot of new or exciting releases from Panasonic. The last one, yes, they have G9 Mark II, they have GH6, GH7, right? Yes, those are pretty exciting, I'm not gonna lie, but it seems like the product releases have slowed down so much to a point where the last major release from Panasonic was last year in June, which was the GH7. It's been more than 1 year that there's no big releases from Panasonic. for Micro Four Thirds. Of course, they have the S9, they have S1R Mark something for the full frame, they have some lenses for the full frame, but nothing for Micro Four Thirds. And to me, that's kind of sad because like in the world of digital technology, in this fast-paced era, 1 year is a long time. Like, I'm not expecting them to come out with a product every month or every 3 months or something, but at least one camera, one lens this year. Like, it's already October and we have not heard anything from Panasonic. It's already like, you know, it's alarming, right? And I don't know, like I wish there was something more from Panasonic. I guess like it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It could be entry-level camera. It could be some, I don't know. I just wish there's something. And at least if you look at OM Digital Solutions, they have OM3 this year. They have the updated 17 1.8 Mark II, 25 1.8 Mark II. They have 100 to 400 Mark II, which is a big deal because they included the 5-axis Sync IS in the 100 to 400. That's earlier in this year. And then they launched the OM5 Mark II. I understand that OM5 Mark II is more of like a recycled, a rebatch EM5 Mark III with some tweaks there and here. But still, it's a new launch, right? And it managed to get some excitement in the market, and it's not entirely a bad thing. Whether you like the camera or not, that's one problem, but at least they do something, right? There's like 2 cameras and like 4 lenses from OM Digital Solutions, right? With the Reason 50 to 200 f2.8 Pro, which is not a normal lens, by the way. It's a lens that can get a lot of attention, right? That's what we want. We want the Micro Four Thirds camp. We want Panasonic. We want OM Digital Solutions to gain more attention. We want them to have more hype so that people can look at the system and, hey, you know, it is still alive, it is still well, and they are still doing things, right? But that's not the vibe that I'm getting or the message that I'm getting from Panasonic. Entire year until now, October, I doubt that they're going to release anytime in November or December. It's a very bad time to launch something this late of the year. If they were to release something, they would have released it by now. So we are looking at very likely that the entire 2025, Panasonic has 0 products on Micro Four Thirds. And what kind of message does that send? What are they telling the market? Are they saying, hey, you know, we are like not taking Micro Four Thirds seriously? Are they saying, hey, we are giving up already, or we are half giving up already? Are they saying that Micro Four Thirds is not a priority anymore? We are doubling down on the full frame, the L mount. Are they saying that we are gonna give like slowly phase out our Micro Four Thirds, or what are they saying? Like, we heard nothing from Panasonic, right? And it's, to me, that's it's quite concerning. To me, it's a little bit worrying. I don't know. What do you guys think? What is the message that you get from Panasonic that they don't have anything at all in the year 2025? And the fact that the last big product was more than 1 year ago, and that was in June last year. Do share your thoughts. This is not about me. Obviously, I'm not an expert in Panasonic. I don't have a lot of Panasonic products. I don't do a lot of Panasonic reviews. I think there are other players out there or YouTubers who are better qualified to talk about Panasonic. But I want to hear from you because I'm a little bit worried, right? And I do care about Micro Four Thirds, and I do want Micro Four Thirds to survive, and I do want them to thrive even in the future. And I do want them to gain more market share, but by not releasing any products at all, right? Not even a lens or a camera for the entire year. That's very worrying. So yeah, please share some thoughts, and I'll drink some coffee and I'll get to the chat. Okay. Ing and Barrel says, I love my GH7, but we need something new. Keeps the series alive. I kind of want a compact camera and some primes. Yeah, Panasonic had like really small cameras, right? The GX series, and even the GF series is not half bad. And the GM series is really awesome. Like Chris Nichols from Petapixel is saying like, this is the best camera ever, right? The GM5. If you guys have watched that video, it's kind of sad that they gave it up too soon, because if you look at a lot of cameras in history, it took some time for them to pick up popularity. Like Fuji's X100 series, it did not get sold out everywhere overnight. There was X100, X100S, X100T, X100F, and only the X100V the 5th iteration after more than 10 years. Finally, the Fuji X100 series started to take off and gain attention everywhere, went viral, and it got sold out everywhere, right? And then X100 Mark VI, the latest one, that's the one that got like 1 million pre-orders. I don't even know if the number is true or not, but they only managed to get here after the 5th iteration. Same story with Ricoh GR, right? The Ricoh GR, GR2, even the GR3, yes, it was popular, but it didn't like got so hot, right? Immediately, it took some time for it to develop and gain a cult following status, and it's already the 3rd version. And it took them like 8 years, 10 years to achieve that. So I think Panasonic, like GM1, GM5, they was launched like a year apart. At that time, they gave up too soon. If they have continued on to like GM1, GM5, I don't know, GM2, GM3, or GM1 Mark II, GM5, I don't know, right? If they kept on making a few more iterations, it could have hit a sweet spot where it could have gone viral and, you know, like being high in demand everywhere, as evidently seen in the used market, what happens to the GM1 and GM5 now. So, yeah. Alright, Catcher said, just look at 12 to 40 price, a bit off my price range. The average is around 700 Australian dollars, 700 times 3. Okay, I think for now I'll get a 45 1.8. I can get a brand new one for $300 and buy a 12 to 40 later. 45 1.8 is an excellent lens. It's the lens that I use a lot for my portrait photography, for my product photography. It's my bread and butter lens, and also a lot of my videos. They are talking head videos. It's all filmed with the 45 1.8 with a nice background blur, right? So yeah, if you don't have one already, 45 1.8 I think is a must-have lens. I've made several videos talking about the 45 1.8. Just find them up. You'll see me talking about a lot of wonderful things about the lens. So yeah. Andrew says, I wish there's a successor to the Lumix GX9. We need a rangefinder style camera like GR series. Yes. Definitely. And it took some time for, you know, like rangefinder series to be extremely popular, right? Like the Fuji and Ricoh I've just mentioned. So now is the right time to really attack or eat into that slice of pie, right? So yeah. Andrew says, Panasonic Malaysia keeps pushing to get the S9, but S9 is such a horrible camera because they say it's the elder brother of GM1. No, it is not. Have you seen the size of that thing? Like how much bigger it is? Like you can't even put that in your jeans pocket, right? Cannot come in with that kind of price tag. It's not the price tag that's the problem. Whatever that made the GM1 awesome was lost in the S9. Like GM1 was truly tiny, but the S9 was not. The GM1, you know, like has tiny lenses to put on. Like you can slap on 14 f2.9, 2.5, the pancake lens, 20 f1.7, or even the Olympus 45 1.8. It's so tiny, right? You've seen those lenses. Small camera, small lens. There is a certain charm in using that, right? S9, have you seen the lenses for the S9? They were monstrous. Like, I don't see how it is the replacement or the elder brother for the GM1. It is completely different. And not to mention that GM1 has an actual shutter mechanism. S9 doesn't have it. Then GM1 has a flash built in. The S9 is totally incapable of any flash. If I keep going on, this will be the whole series of me talking about why the GM1 is better than the S9. So let's not get into that. So yeah. Dan says, I think Panasonic has more leverage to be more innovative, so I would like to see them push forward with stuff that would force Olympus to push for it as well, because they won't do it on their own. But they're not doing anything for more than 1 year, like nothing. That's the part where I'm confused, right? What happened to Panasonic? Like, are they giving up already? Yeah, I've been saying that for a long time. If there was a rangefinder micro four third camera, that would be an absolute hit. Yeah, but then again, like, they give up so soon, right? Panf, just one version, and they gave up. Like, come on, like, look at Fuji, right? X100, X100S, X100F, X100T, X100V, and then it started to become highly popular, right? Like Ricoh GR, GR2, GR3, GR4, then, you know, became like a huge hit, right? It takes some time. They just gave up so soon, like, oh, this is not working well, let's just move on to another project. It's like, it's kind of sad. Gary says, yeah, I'm so glad I bit the bullet for the GM5, so easy to carry. My OM1, it's a paperweight. Yeah, smaller cameras definitely is something that you can carry with you everywhere you go to. Pancake lenses are giant mooncakes. Do you see the was it the 24 or 28 pancake? It doesn't even have autofocus. What the hell? and the 26 pancake from Nikon has autofocus, and it's cheaper than what the Panasonic. Not cheaper. Sorry, that's not the right thing to say. But it's smaller, right? And it has autofocus. Like, I don't know what's wrong with Panasonic. So anyway, Hertzil says, I guess most are waiting for the rehash S9 for Micro Four Thirds with an actual hot shoe. No, most are waiting for the rehash of the GM1 or GM5, which already has a hot shoe. Crystal says, Robin agrees, full frame is currently popular and affordable, so it doesn't require specialization. Micro Four Thirds must compete with full frame on features other than image quality. I don't think we will win in terms of image quality, but there are other things that they can update as well. Like, currently, I think the most important thing is autofocus, right? And the main reason why a lot of people move to Sony, even away from Canon and Nikon, is autofocus. So if only they can fix the autofocus algorithm somehow, that would be a huge advantage for Micro Four Thirds. And there are so many new sensors to choose from. How about the 47 megapixels Micro Four Thirds sensor that I've mentioned? Like, why is nobody using that? That could have been a clear competitor to any of the full frame cameras out there. We don't have to win in terms of pixel count or dynamic range or high ISO. We just need a new sensor, something new, rather than being stuck with the same old sensor all this time, right? So yeah. Gagger says bazooka. I've not heard that term for a while. We used to call those giant two-man telephoto lenses, the white Canon monsters in the camera store. Yeah, I guess like they have shrunk, right? All these bazookas, they're not really bazookas anymore. The lenses for Canon, Nikon, and Sony, they have gotten a lot smaller these days. Ing Barrow says, I think it would be nice if they added some DaVinci integration in the GH7 and then throw a few simple primes aimed at video. It's already a popular camera for production, maybe a 14 1.2. I think production is not enough. I think they need to do more. Like the target market is just too narrow, right? And a lot of people tried the GH7 and said no, they still prefer to use Sony Red camera or whatever camera that they've been using, right? And I mean, it's easy to find, look around YouTube. A lot of the YouTubers or filmmakers, they share their honest opinion on the GH7. Not that it's not capable, but it's not just the camera that entices people to pick it up, right? Yeah. Man of focus, right, Andrew? You guys are talking to each other, no worries. Gary says, Micro Four Thirds will not win on image quality, but if manufacturers pursue the best image quality possible for the format, it will be very good enough. We just need progress. We can't be stuck in one spot for the longest time, right? Like, for example, the 20 megapixel sensor from the EMA Mark II was already out since 2016, and now it's already how many years later? 8 years later, and 8 years later, and we still have like the same image quality on the OM1, which is kind of sad, right? So we want some progress. So yeah, compatibility to sell, correct. Okay, let's get to the non-members chat. Kamil says, whatever happened to that ultra low light sensor from Panasonic that could shoot at night? I think you're talking about organic sensor, right? I remember seeing some sample video at night at the beach or look good. I think it's hyperspectral sensor. I have no idea. I've never heard of the hyperspectral sensor. I've heard of the organic sensor though. It seems like they've given up on that development as well. Jared says, hi all, I'm afraid Panasonic makes only full frame cameras from now onwards. It seems like that's the message that they are sending, right? For this entire year of 2025, there's nothing on the Micro Four Thirds releases from Panasonic. Wang says, last year I just picked up the G9 Mark II and this year also bought the Panasonic 10-25, 50-200 in Japan. I think Panasonic needs to release a GH7 Mark IV with the new Panasonic 15 with face detection autofocus and weather sealing. Yeah, it seems like nothing. They just care about making expensive, oversized, overweight, over bloated cameras with a lot of features that a lot of photographers don't even want or need. They just fit everything in, like, you know, like open gate capture for video and floating 32-bit audio. I understand things like this may be useful for production, for serious filmmakers, but come on, I'm doing a YouTube video. I don't need that 32-bit float feature. Like, you guys hear my audio on my videos. Do you guys notice any problems in my audio in any of my videos? Or do you guys see any clippings on my videos, like any dynamic range that is so harsh that I can't recover details in the shadow and highlight? Like, I'm just a normal, a very simple content creator. I don't need all this crazy high advanced features for filmmakers. I'm not making film for Hollywood, right? I'm not making series for television. I'm not shooting for Netflix or anything. I'm just doing content on YouTube. And like, why would I need all these crazy features? But I would really treasure smaller camera bodies that's not too expensive, that's affordable, that can shoot decent quality with all the right combinations, right? Like image stabilization, face detection, autofocus. It would definitely fly, right? It doesn't have to be like $2,500, $2,500, right? It can be $1,200. That would be awesome, right? So yeah, I don't know. It seems like a missed opportunity if you ask me. Tomato says, I do see a lot of YouTube creators picking Micro Four Thirds lately. Panasonic OM, I think there's still hope. Creators picking up cameras do not translate to the market share. If you look at the share, numbers of units sold, the shipment data from Japan, it's kind of sad. So any creators can just pick whatever they want, right? They just want to make content to generate views, but that doesn't translate to the actual buying power from the customers, right? Yeah. Chicks did the GM1 is so cute. Right on, Gregory. Tomato says, as I'm in the market for a new mirrorless camera, I'm seriously considering the OM5 Mark II. Exactly, right? And if Panasonic has launched something this year, it could have been an alternative to the OM5 Mark II, right? So it's that they're missing out. The reason being OM have really good live composite features in body that no one else is doing. Panasonic has live composite as well. I think Canon, Nikon, they also have live composite features, if I'm not wrong. Nikon live composite. Yep, they have Nikon Z. It's not unique to Olympus. 10 years ago, maybe Olympus was the only one that has it, but now like almost everyone has that feature already. Roaring Capture says, the thing I find is I don't think I've ever seen an Olympus ad in my 17 years. It's more word of mouth. I wouldn't have found out about Olympus unless my pop had given me his old EPL2. I think they've given up on mainstream advertisement, right? Like they don't advertise on newspaper or magazines or television or like outside. You don't see any billboards or anything physical. They have tried to, I think it's a cost-cutting measure. They've moved to digital, so you see a lot of things happening on YouTube, on Facebook, or on online, the online presence. Try to shift it there, whether it's targeting the right audience, whether it reaches you or not. I don't know, because the way that this kind of marketing on digital platforms work is a little bit tricky. It's not the same as traditional media, so yeah. But I know that they've tried to shift to digital, so how effective that has been, who knows, right? Yeah. So yeah, let me just get to a few more chat and then we'll go to the photo sharing for the week. Yoon says, hello, Mr. Wong. Do you ever get tired of carrying around that massive equipment? What massive equipment? Michael says, hello, Sony has nothing for APS-C. Why are we talking about APS-C? Today's topic is Panasonic, right? Panasonic and Micro Four Thirds. Like, why is Panasonic not making any new products in the year 2025? I don't see how that's connected to Sony or APS-C. Yeah, Pete says, just bought the G9 Mark II and OM1 Mark II. Wow, you have both. Nice. Congratulations. I hope you enjoy using both cameras. WSS says, I guess that with APS-C and even full-frame mirrorless bodies becoming more and more compact, I'm not too sad about Panasonic not releasing Micro Four Thirds bodies this year. I know the lenses are bigger though. Yeah, but then again, if they don't come up with something, it's just going to send the wrong kind of message to the Micro Four Thirds cam and to everyone else. And it's just not going to help with the confidence in the system, right? Like, is it alive? Is Panasonic doing anything? Should I be trusting that this system is going to stay? If I invest in Micro Four Thirds, will they stay on long enough to support my cameras and lenses if they break down in a year or two? Like, you know, we need them to show like, hey, we are committed, we are still here, we want to help this community, we care about this Micro Four Thirds group, and them being silent for the whole year is not really inspiring confidence. I think that's the concern, right? Yeah. AK47 says, after a few years watching your video, I finally bought EPM2. It's now time to put all the knowledge I gained through watching your video into practice. Wish me luck. Let's do this. Let's do this. Congratulations on the EPM2. I think it's one of the most awesome cameras ever. Yes, it's slightly bigger than the GM1 and GM5, which we've been talking about Panasonic, but EPM2 has some tricks on its sleeve. I really love that it has image stabilization, and I like that the camera's handling is also better than the GM series camera. So if you want to use the camera for longer duration of time, it's definitely more comfortable to hold. And yeah, overall, it still produces excellent images. So there you go. George says, I don't understand how all the big players ignore the entry-level small photo camera market. There's pretty much nothing below $1,000 at this point. Yeah, I know, right? I think that's like the blind spot at the moment, and I think anyone that comes out with a really compelling camera, it doesn't even have to be good at anything or the best at anything, right? Decent autofocus, decent image quality, some new features put in the camera body, I'm sure it will fly, right? So yeah. Massive equipment. Don't be naughty, Tomato. Careful with the YouTube. So anyway, it is 11 o'clock already. I'm going to pause on the chat. Don't worry, I'll get to every single chat. And I'll drink some coffee and I'll start with the photo sharing session. Coffee. This set of photographs were taken last week. It's the model shooting session. If you were here on last week's live stream, I shared a series of photos taken with the Charmera, the Kodak Charmera. I was shooting the portraits of Lily. Lily is a friend. She's a model as well. So for this week, of course, that session, Charmera was not the only camera that I used. I used another camera with another lens. I will not tell you what lens it is, but if you successfully guessed what the lens is, I will reveal the answer. I mean, let's have some fun, right? If I tell you everything, if I reveal all the information, it's not fun, right? So let's just keep some small mystery here. So I'm not going to tell you what lens I used for this session. I will share about 15 photographs from this session. I will make a video. I have not made a video yet. I will make a video to talk about this lens, using it to shoot portraits of Lily. And that video will come out in a few weeks or a month or two. I don't know when I'm going to publish that. But for now, I'm going to show you a few photographs from that session. This should be fun. So there you go. Here it is. So that's Lily in Bukit Bintang. I can see. So yeah, it's a nice lens. I really enjoy using this lens. It's not a new lens. And this is Lily. So what I like to do with my portraits is that I always try to find lines to work with. So in this case, there's a diagonal railing, the steel railing for the handrail. And with that line, I sort of like use it to highlight the shape of a body. So with the placements of the hands, it really sort of like emphasizes on Lily's beautiful body here. So there you go. All right. Playing with lines. Lines is something that are very important in composition, in creative framing, anything you can incorporate in your photography, in the image itself. Just a simple shot. So when you have a bright dress, like Lily, she's wearing white with some floral patterns, right? So it's generally a bright dress. Find a darker background, so her body and her shirt immediately pops from the background. So that was a hoarding, just a blue and some rustic colors. So that's where she immediately pops. So there some ideas to throw around, right? So yeah. And play with foreground. So we always play with background blur, but sometimes foreground blur can be interesting as well. So there's some leaves in the foreground and some, what do you call that, steel grill, metal grills, right? The X-shaped metal grills, and with some leaves in the foreground. So I use those to sort of like create some foreground, some layers in the foreground, which leads to the opening where it directs your eye to Lily's face. So there you go. Right. And of course, matching colors, right? She has floral patterns of red. So you find a color that matches that. And pink and red, surely they complement each other very well. So this is just a random window frame. I love framing. I love windows. I love shapes. So the shape, this color, this texture, everything just blends very well together in this particular scene. So it's not just about shooting the model. It's not just about getting the model to pose for you. Always remember the background as well. Always remember to avoid distractions, like things like rubbish bins or things that can look really distracting. Colors like red and yellow, if you're shooting in color, try to avoid strong reds and strong yellows in the background. This will take away the attention from the viewer. So try to find a nice clean background so that the subject or the model or the portrait that you shoot will immediately pop. Yep. And yeah, and of course, the oldest trick is to use shallow depth of field, right? Bokeh. This particular shot is more like a test shot. So what I think if you guys have seen my video, you know what I'm gonna do in my videos. I'm gonna like zoom into the eye and see how sharp the lens is, and then I'm gonna zoom into the bokeh area and I'm gonna see how creamy and smooth the bokeh is. So yeah, this lens is capable of producing very sharp images, even shooting it wide open, and this lens is also capable in producing some really nice looking bokeh. So yeah. Play with colors, right? So she changed dress. This is the other outfit that she carried with her. So I always find something very colorful to work with. Bright yellow and bright green. Sort of like also matches the green cheongsam that she's wearing. So there you go. Just bright yellow in this particular scene, right? Different composition, going in closer. And don't be afraid to use negative space. I think negative space can add depth and layers to the shot if you use carefully. And you don't have to fill the entire screen with just the subject. It look very boring. Use negative space as a composition tool or element in your photograph. And when there's nothing to do, I always like to grab a chair when there's an open space and just ask the model to sit. And there she is, just sitting there, chilling, looking at the camera out in the open. We have some very nice lighting happening here, natural light. The only complaint that I have on this particular session was that it was very cloudy. In my mind, I wanted to play with strong highlight and shadow and a lot of contrast, and I want to do some black and white so that the background can dip into like completely black, and I want to like half a body in shadow, half in light, that kind of thing. But it was a cloudy day, overcast. There was no strong light. I just had to work with what I have. Unfortunately, I can't do those high contrast shots, those creative light and shadow play. So I just had to do something else. So there you go, right? And also try to vary your composition. Like here, I have a full body shot. Go like half body, full body, knee up, shoulder, hand and shoulder. Like try to get different kind of compositions. Try to get different kind of framing. And you can go near, go far, like just play with all these different options that you have. And it's always fun to just try all the different things. Sometimes it works, sometimes they don't work. It doesn't matter. If it doesn't work, just delete the photographs later. You have nothing to lose, right? Just keep trying until you get something that lands, right? So yeah, so go near. Like you can see that these are same location. Go far, go near. So these are really cool, right? Okay, and also still in Bukit Bintang, right? Different pose, right? And reflections. I think if you guys have seen me do portraits, you've seen that I've used a lot of reflections in my shots, and it has become cliche to a point. I don't really care. I just love reflections. I just like, I think there's some drama in the reflection that I want to capture. So yeah, go near, right? So this was a full body shot. Don't be afraid to go near. And of course, don't be afraid to go even nearer, right? So you can see all these different compositions, you can get different shots, and yeah, then you get different kind of outcome for the image that you have taken. So yeah, and we ended up in a cafe sipping coffee. I think she had tea, I had coffee. So even a cafe, the best thing about shooting in a cafe is that it has window light. Window light is always very nice because it comes from a large source and it's always directional, right? Side light, it always looks very, very, very nice. And yeah, and of course, that's the last shot for tonight. Go near and go far. There you go, right? I hope you guys have enjoyed the series. Just a few shots that I want to share from this particular session of Lily, shot with a mystery lens. I will review what this lens is in my actual full video, which I'll talk about the lens. It'll be like a mini review of the lens. I enjoyed using the lens. I thought it gives me fantastic results. I thought this series was quite fun. Not my best work because lighting wasn't ideal. I was hoping for harsher light, some more dramatic light, like the light and shadow play, right? I can't do that. I was hoping to do some black and white shots, but the lighting was a bit too flat for that. So yeah, these are the best that I could do in that situation. Not complaining. Lily was excellent as ever. She's always what do you call that? It's always nice to work with her. Let's just not play with the words. It's very pleasant to work with her. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the series. And before we get back, let me just drink some coffee. Oh, I should drink some water as well to stay hydrated. I forgot about that. I've been talking for more than 1 hour. Let's stay hydrated. Do I have more coffee? Yes, I have some coffee left. I think it's a good time to remind everyone that I have membership enabled on this channel. With just the price of a cup of coffee, you can support me. You get some really cool perks in return. You get early access to all my videos. You watch my videos 24 hours before everyone else. We also have members-only live streams, which means only members can come into the live stream. We'll have more intimate conversation. And if you join now, you're just in time for the next members only live stream, which will be happening tomorrow night. So yeah, you can ask me questions more directly, and I don't have to go through so many chats for non-members before I get to you. And if you're a member, I will prioritize my responses to your comments, whether it's in my new or old videos, or like this live stream, I will respond to your chats first before everyone else. I've also taken down some older videos that were not performing well, videos that have very bad views. I don't want YouTube to dilute the algorithm. I want YouTube to continue to push my new videos to a wider audience, and so far it's been working. And these other videos I've taken down included tips and tricks on composition, how to do impactful black and white photography, how to get sharp images doing macro, a lot of POV street photography as well. If you want access to these other videos, you can join as a member. Let me remind everyone that my videos are free for everyone to watch. These old videos, I've put them up for like half a year, and they've only gotten like 1,000 views, 2,000 views. So if I've already left the video up there for half a year or more than 1 year, if nobody watches, then I just take them down, right? It's not like I'm charging money or anything. If you want to watch, you watch. If you don't watch, half a year, 1 year, another 5 years, and you're still not going to watch the video. So I took it down. But if you want full access to that, then you can join as a member. There are other ways to support me. You can buy me a cup of coffee using this link, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal if that's more convenient for you, or you can buy from my affiliate links. Everything is in descriptions below, or the links. Any support, any contribution, big or small, goes a long way. It will definitely inspire me to go out to shoot more, share more tips and tricks, and create more content and share them with you guys. For those of you who have contributed to me, whether it's on Super Chat here, or PayPal, or Buy Me Coffee, or if you're a member, or any other form of support, thank you so much. I really appreciate your help. Without you guys, there's no Robin Wong. All right, let's get back to the chat. As I've mentioned, members first, right? I go to members chat first. Dan says, is it a Micro Four Thirds lens or a Nikon? Micro Four Thirds. Dan says, 45 1.8? Nope, it is not. Rowan Catcher says, Panasonic 25 1.4? It is not. Yeah. Gregor says, all this trick in the book, blurred background plus a beautiful model. But you realize that a lot of my compositions, they don't really have blur background, right? Yes, of course, I want to use blur background sometimes, but not all, right? Like you can see, this is blur. This is not really a blur background. This is just typical symmetry. There's like foreground, background, and things like that, lines, right? Let me see what other shots. This is not really a blur background, so I use like the wall as like the negative space to draw attention into the model, right? Like this is not a blur background, right? I'm using the pink wall and the window to frame her, blur foreground instead of background. It's not a blur background, right? So yeah, there are, like, understand shallow depth of field is a very capable tool. It's a very powerful tool to isolate the subject and immediately create the wow factor, but there are a lot of other creative ways to compose and bring out the subject as well, instead of just using bokeh, right? Mika says 45 1.2. Nope, not 45 1.2. Tomato says, this is a nice challenge. I'm going to hint a guess at Olympus 25 1.2 Pro. Nope, not Olympus 25 1.2. Dan says, actually, now that I think of it, it's a Lumix discussion. Some, I'm guessing, it's a Lumix lens. No, not necessarily. I will say it's an Olympus lens. It's not a Lumix lens. I wish it's a Lumix lens, though. I do want to use a Lumix lens. Yeah, I know how this can be like, I'm throwing people off, right? Hey, this is a Panasonic discussion. Should have been a Panasonic lens, right? But it's not. Let me just be honest. Something for now, it's not Nikon. Andrew says, lovely shots of Lily. Robin has versatility from bugs to babes. Andrew. I think, like, when you shoot model or portraits, that's where creativity is more important. How you avoid the distraction, how you draw the attention into the model, how you play with the lines, texture, colors, shapes, right? Reflections and everything, composition, and how you get the model to interact with you. There's a lot more creativity. It's a lot more fun. Whereas I'm not saying that shooting bugs or inset macro is not fun. It's a different kind of fun. But inset macro is more like, how close can you get? How much nicer can I make the lighting work? And it's all about, perfect lighting, sharp, getting more details, more depth of field, getting closer, more magnification, right? So it's more technical. There's not much room for creativity when it comes to inset macro, unless you bring the inset back at home and you use a car background and you freeze the subject in the refrigerator. I'm not gonna do that. That's torture. If you shoot inset macro on location, right, in situ, then it's not that much of a creative endeavor. There's not much you can do in terms of like what you can play around creatively, right? So yeah. Gary says, at the risk of looking like a recording, the old videos are great and worth it. Thank you so much, Gregory. I really appreciate the support. No worries. I don't think a lot of people can guess it, but it doesn't really matter, right? It's not about like who's getting it right or wrong. It's more like, hey, what can you do with the lens, right? Like if you see the entire sharing is nothing to do with how good the lens is or how sharp the lens is about bokeh. No, I'm talking about composition. I'm talking about avoiding distractions. I'm talking about how you lead the eye into the subject. I'm talking about the play with the elements around the subject using creative composition, right? So it's not really so much about the lens itself. Yeah. Nope, not 25 1.8, Andrew. Tomato says, I have a feeling it's a zoom lens. The blur was really creamy in one of the shots. Why is zoom lens blur more creamy than a prime lens? I've never heard of that. Like, have you seen 45 1.8? I think 45 1.8's lens is creamier than this. Yeah. Those are not the oldest tricks. Does it have to be the oldest tricks though? Yeah. Gary says background compression looks like a telephoto. It is a telephoto lens. That's not wrong. Nope, it is not 60 f2.8. Mike, nice to see you here, Mike. Yes, it's compressed perspective, correct. Andrew says, can we get a hint? It's a prime lens or not? It is a prime lens in Olympus lens. Enough hints. Gregory, you give me too much credit. Too much credit. All right, I'm gonna go to non-members chat. All right. George says, small use photo cameras are going for almost 10 times compared to prices just a few years ago when nobody wanted them for free. I know, right? And it's like, because there's a scarcity, right? Because nobody's selling them anymore. Nobody's making them anymore. So the older cameras, the prices went up because clearly there's a demand. There's no new supply, so people go for the older products. And then because the used market, people already have them, it's not readily available, so the price went up, right? It's just the classic tale of demand and supply. Wow, how do I pronounce this? Paparozelas says, I wish for the successor of GF9, small size, added image stabilization. Wasn't there a GF10? Right. Panasonic GF10. GF10 was the longest, the one after GF9, right? But I understand there's nothing much. When was GF10 released? 7 years ago? 2018. So it has been 7 years. 7 years since GF10 was released. So yeah. Camille says, Panasonic could at least release a new 21.7 with autofocus that isn't so slow. I know, right? Like, there's a lot they can do. It's just that they're not doing anything. It's kind of sad. Or make it weather sealed, right? Make the 20 f1.7 weather sealed. George says, I'd rather see something small and cheap with less features. Yes, all the bloated features that's really expensive and like super gigantic in size, it's not really helping the sales of Micro Four Thirds, right? Like when I think of Micro Four Thirds, I think of small cameras that are really capable. I'm not thinking cameras that's bigger than full frame and still uses Micro Four Thirds sensor. It doesn't make sense, right? Michael says, people move from Canon to Sony because Canon cameras and lenses are backbreakers. But then Sony lenses are not really that small either. And like this is true for wedding photographers because I have a lot of wedding photographer friends. And the reason they gave up on Canon was because the autofocus, if they compare with what Sony can do, it's like way advanced, like way far ahead. So yeah, that's like one of the main reasons. WSS says, why do you think Panasonic Olympus aren't using some of the newer Micro Four Thirds sensors? I have no idea. Do they not want to invest in more powerful processors or something like that? I honestly have no idea. I wish they would have used the newer available sensors. That would have been more interesting, right? I want to use the 47 megapixel sensor. That would have been really interesting, right? Camille says, Robin, how much, if any, collaboration have Olympus and Panasonic done together? I have no idea. Do they ever have meetings on the future of Micro Four Thirds and what they're working on or what they could work on together? I have no idea. I only have internal meetings. I am not involved with meetings between Panasonic and Olympus, or if they have any at all during my years working for Olympus. Yeah, and since I work for Olympus, I don't have business going over to Panasonic and do anything there. So yeah. Oh yes, Mee Siam. Yeah, that was breakfast for today. Sweet Pajit Panda says, I noticed Selena Gomez posted photos of herself using an OM camera. I wonder if that caused a little surge in sales. She has a huge following now. Like, relying on celebrities to sell cameras is the worst tactic of all time. Because she's holding OM now, right? What if tomorrow she decides to hold a Sony? Will all the OM system, will all the people who bought the OM because they follow Selena Gomez dump their OM system camera and get the Sony? You get what I mean? It's completely useless, right? Because unless they genuinely believe in it, right? If you just buy the camera because, oh, my favorite idol buys the camera, I want to follow my idol, that is the wrong reason to buy the camera, right? It's not going to stick. Yeah, that's a very poor strategy. And Charles says Olympus 45 1.8. Nope, it is not. Kama says, Robin, that negative space photo with the yellow left side is awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, always try to incorporate negative space and don't do it for every single photo. It'll look really weird, right? 1 or 2 photos to break that the norm, like break the consistency. It will be like, oh, okay, that's like you put the head of the person in the extreme end. It'll be really interesting. Yeah. Daryl says 75 1.8. No, it is not 75 1.8. Nope, Terry, it is not 75 1.8. Let me get to the members' chat. Gary says, let's do this. Shuttle therapy from butts to babes. All t-shirts. Nobody even cares about shuttle therapy. I think the other less popular ones will not work. Hey, someone says, what I mean, if it's a telephoto zoom, is so confusing. No, it is not. It is not. Dan, the guitar man, says 75 1.8. Nope, it is not. I wish Panasonic will release scaled down versions strictly for photography without all the video features because I don't want to pay for video features since I don't do video at all. I agreed. I think like Ricoh GR4, right, records full HD video, like has complete crap video features. They don't care about video. It's very obvious that they created the GR series cameras purely for photography and they are doing so well. And also like Fuji X100 series, I don't think they'll be the first choice to be a vlogging camera, right? People will not use Fuji X100 for vlogs or video content creating. Maybe for just some quick video clips or snaps. But yeah, but these cameras are designed for photography and that's why they're doing so well, right? So yeah. Matt Cruz says, you didn't get the 150 to f2. Wow, I would love that lens, but I wouldn't use that. Even if I have that lens, I wouldn't use it for portraits. That's like 300 millimeters equivalent. To shoot a portrait with that, I would have to shout, Lily, turn your cheek to the left, not right, left. You know, like out in the open, in the busy streets where cars are passing by and everything. Like I have to shout, Lele, like turn, like move your body 2 steps forward. Like, oh come on, that's ridiculous. Right, using that lens. So yeah, no, it's not that lens, unfortunately. But I would love that lens. Like if I can find one in a good price, I don't mind having that lens. I think that's what they call baby tuna, right? Okay, let's see. Kamulat Mariam says, I just called out. Good evening, Robin, everyone. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you here. Kamuyat Mariam. Christoph says, Yongno 25 1.7. Nope, it is not Yongno. Camille says, Sigma 56 1.4. Nope, this is not that lens. Jacopo says, it's 75 1.8. Nope, it is not. It is not 75 1.8, unfortunately. Hey, Santix, how are you? Santix, hope you're doing great. I'm doing all right. Santix says, any events coming up? I've talked about it in the beginning of the video. Maybe you can rewind it later, but I just have a quick recap for you in case you missed it. Let's see. Events. I'll be speaking at Penang on 26th of October for this Rico GR event. That's one. And there's this Scott Kelby photo walk happening this Saturday, but you have to sign up. The link is in the pinned chat. You can register there. Ripi, my friend Rajendra Putra, is leading the walk. So there you go, right? So 2 events I've just announced. For all the details, you can rewind and watch later. Sandy says, oh, as what I have talked about the Panasonic booth in the YL Fair, entry-level and mid-level Micro Four Thirds camera. This year? Really? I thought in 2025 they're not going to launch anything. If they're going to launch something, it's already a bit too late, right? It's like, it's October already. Doesn't make sense to launch anything this late. Yeah. Christoph says, telephoto, maybe Panasonic 14 to 140. Nope, not Panasonic 14 to 140. Yep. Entry all 12 to 100 Pro. No, definitely not 12 to 100. 12 to 100 cannot render that kind of shallow depth of field. Yep. It has to be f2.8 or narrower. Faik says, hi there. Hey Faik, how are you? Oportica says, 60 macro. Nope, it is not. Andrew says 71.8. Can't be right because I know you don't like that focal length. No, it is not. It is not. Hey, G3 Habitat. How are you? I'm so late. No worries. Just glad that you are here. Welcome to the chat. Nope, I've said this already. It's not the 60 f2.8 macro, Mika. It's not that lens. Early 2026. Yeah, but that's 2026, right? We're talking about this year, 2025. Gary says, who is Scott Kelby? Sounds like an astronaut. So Scott Kelby, I think he's involved with Nikon and he has written some books on flash tutorials. I bought one of his books earlier to learn about flash photography, and very good book actually to recommend. And I think he has YouTube content everywhere as well, and he's organized this yearly worldwide photo walk. So yeah, I think you don't really have to be associated with him. You can just register and sign up on any of the walks nearby you. It's more like an event where the community is getting together and you can meet like-minded people and just go out and have fun, right? So yeah, I've never met Scott Kelby in person, but I gotta say his flash book for beginners is really, really useful if you want to pick up about basic flash photography. Yeah. Daryl says 100 f2.8. Is there such a lens? 100 f2.8. What lens is that? I'm curious. What lens is 100 f2.8? So anyway, I've caught up with the chat. Time check, it is almost 11:30. Let me drink some water. I'm a little bit thirsty. Yep, if you guys have any questions or any thoughts about Panasonic not doing anything in the year 2025, like what happened, have they given up, or like what kind of message are they sending? Are they saying that, hey, you know, like Micro Four Thirds is at the back end now, so now we're prioritizing a full frame going forward? Is that what they're saying? Please share your thoughts, right? Or what other Panasonic products that you want to see them make? Anything goes, right? It's a free and open chat, so we have some time. And let me just drink some water and coffee and get back to the chat if there's any more chat coming up. Fun fact, the OM Digital Solutions distributor in Malaysia, or the YL camera, technically it's YL camera, they have contacted me and they have alerted me that the 50 to 200 f2.8 Pro lens is in Malaysia. They have the stocks here now, which also means that they have sample units. And they've asked me if I'm interested to try. I said yes, but I can't do anything currently within this 1 to 2 weeks because I'll be busy with some projects. I don't have free time to commit to create a video to test the lens, but I'll be getting the lens from them very, very soon, hopefully in 1 to 2 weeks time. And I'll be testing the lens and I'll be doing like a mini review of the 50-200. I think it's a little bit challenging now because it's already so late. The lens was launched like what, a month ago? When was the 50-200 launch? 50-200 launch. When was it launched? October 3rd, right? So, no, that's not October 3rd. When was it launched? My goodness. 9th of September. So, yeah, it's been a month now since the launch. And I'm sure there have been like 100 content out there already. You can find all kinds of reviews from OM System ambassadors, from anyone out there, really, non-ambassadors. A lot of people have tested the lens already. So I think whatever that needs to be said about the 50-200 has been said. And judging from the majority of the reviews, including some independent ones, everyone has positive things to say about the lens. So I'm expecting to be blown away by the lens, expecting to be impressed and wowed by the sharpness, by the autofocus, by the image quality generally. So I can't wait to test that lens. But I'll be busy for this 1 to 2 weeks. I have shoots, I have some projects going on. So I can't just push everything aside and just make the video out. And it's not really a priority anyway, since I think there are a lot of other YouTubers that are more important than me out there. I'm just a small peanut in Malaysia. Nobody cares about Robin Wong. Who cares, right? So it doesn't matter if I publish it 1 week, 2 weeks, or 5 months later. So there you go. Just heads up. Yeah, I'll be reviewing the OM System lens. Hopefully, I'll be able to publish that video by end of the month. So I'll be getting the lens in, I think, at least 1 to 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks from now. Only about 1 week plus, 1 week to shoot and make the video, 1 to 2 weeks. It's a lens, so it's less complicated than a camera. If it's a camera, then I need longer time. If it's a lens, maybe 1 week, 1 week plus, then yeah, hopefully by the end of the month, you'll see the video from me. So not that soon, right? So yeah. Let's get to the chat. We have some new chats already. Gregory says, I believe that a story can be told with a single perfect image. My photography is the pursuit of those images. I really enjoy and appreciate a well-done video. Yeah. I think for photography, it has always been a series of photographs. I think great photographs are rarely a standalone photograph. Even like if you look at National Geographic assignments, like photographers commissioned to do a project, let's say they send them to Africa or Antarctica or somewhere in Mexico doing a story on a tribe or the migration of certain animals. It's always a series of like 10 to 20 photographs. It's never just one photograph, right? And that is also true for like newspaper articles or magazine articles, or even if you go to exhibitions by a photographer doing a project, it's always a series. It can be a series of just 5 photographs. It can be a series of 20 or 50 photographs. Depends, right? And I think storytelling requires more than just one photograph. Sometimes one photograph is not enough to tell a lot of the important things, right? Sometimes it's a series of events that happens from beginning to an end. Sometimes it's a process, right? Sometimes you need to tell more than just one person. There's multiple people involved in that project or that story. Yeah. So when we talk about storytelling in photography, it's always about a series of photographs. That's what myself, Peter Forsgaard, and Mati Sulanto are trying to do as well and try to encourage. That's what our workshop will be about. Gregory, you're coming to the workshop next year where we will be sharing about how to do mini projects, where you will have an assignment to go around Kuala Lumpur, some of the amazing locations that I normally shoot at, and you're gonna shoot many photographs. You're gonna come home with hundreds or thousands of photographs, and we're gonna help you to narrow down those photographs and try to fit into a narrative, right? An urban narrative, like a story. That's where you can tell photographs in a series of images. So yeah. Roy and Capture says, I think they could be working on something and putting all the Micro Four Thirds team onto that. I hope that's true. I hope the silence means that they're taking things seriously this time. Or the silence just could be leading to nothing, right? Which could be kind of sad, yeah. Tomato says, regarding celebrity pulling power, my Bhutanese friend saw the king of Bhutan with a Leica M6. He was so inspired, he bought the Fuji X100 Mark 6. Yeah. And that's why Fuji is so popular, right? They know the camera looks like Leica. For those who cannot buy Leica, who still wants a Leica, naturally goes to Fuji. That's the mind trick game that they are playing, and it's working. It's really, really working, right? They're just piggyback on Leica's popularity, right? Mika says, reviews come down to trust. I trust your opinion more than the others. Oh, you're too kind, Mika. And I will do my best, and I don't think I will do a full review of the lens at this point because it really requires a lot of effort. I don't think I have that energy or time to pull it off like I used to. When I read back my old reviews, I was like, wow, Robin, how the heck do you do that? But what I can do is share my opinion as honestly as I can, the things that I like and dislike and things that I wish to be improved. And I guess moving forward, there will be a more sustainable way for me. I can't be pushing things aside for the entire week and just focus on the review and not do anything else, right? I can't just say to my clients, sorry, I have to do this review. It's more important than your company's event, right? So yeah, there you go. Gregory says a small peanut in Malaysia. Another t-shirt idea. I think more people would say small potato, right? Potato in Malaysia. So yeah. Gary says, appreciate a well done video. I'm probably not going to be making such videos. No worries. Gary says, one photograph is a valid goal. It is. But rarely do you see like photographers. Even like recently when I look at like a book, a compilation of all the great street photographs in the world, where it includes like Henri Cartier-Bresson, Martin Parr, Alex Webb, Matt Stewart, all these big names, right? Like all these individual images, they just don't pop. And when you look at a book by just one photographer, just pick anyone like Henri Cartier-Bresson or Matt Stewart or anyone, right? Or who is that? Vivian Maier, for example. If you look at this series of photographs, after you look at one, another, and it makes sense. And it makes you want to flip the pages, right? And when I look at this random compilation of all the best street photographers, I'm just flipping through random stuff that's no connection from one to another. It's weird. The feeling is so disconnected, right? So anyway, that's just me. No worries, Gregory. Looking forward to seeing you next year. Ryan Kasha says, I know a good shirt. Without Micro Four Thirds, your mirrorless Canon won't exist. Ah, that's cruel, man. That's just very cruel. That's cruel. I think Matty had a really good shirt. I don't even know where I put that shirt anymore. He gave me a shirt long time ago. This is like 7-8 years ago. It says, real photographers don't need a mirror. I guess it means that there was the time where DSLR versus mirrorless, the argument was ongoing, and he was obviously on the team mirrorless. So yeah. Gary says hundreds of thousands. I'm gonna need a bigger hard drive. Hundreds or thousands, I guess. I agree with Mika. I do not look for the full review. I trust the experiential reviews you provide. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Let's get to the non-members chat. Kamuyat Mariam says, I just want my company to make new entry-level Micro Four Thirds bodies. Yeah, any company, right? Like a Panasonic or OM Digital Solutions. WSS says, let's just hope it is because they aren't rushing something to market for the sake of it and are instead investing the time and money to release something great next year. Let's hope that's the case. Hopefully it is true. But then 1 year is a long time. It's a long time. And it's not sending the right signals, right? It's not sending the right message. Camille says, does anyone here who has the 12-100 f4 been tempted to switch after seeing the Sigma 20-200 f3.5 6.3 full frame? Why? Why would you want to switch? I think both are very different lens. And I would still think that the 12-100 is an excellent lens. Don't get me wrong. Sigma has been known to be an excellent lens maker. They know what they're doing when it comes to lens making business. But the 12-100 is an excellent lens. Those who have used the 12-100 has no reason to feel threatened and has no reason to feel like they need to switch. I think that lens is one of its kind, right? And don't forget, it has Sync IS, 5-axis Sync IS, and it's weather sealed. So yeah. I've kind of given up on Olympus on the innovation front, so it's all up to Panasonic now. Hey, don't say that. The 50-200 is an innovation. I thought the new OM system 50-200 is an excellent lens. Like, I haven't seen anyone saying anything bad about that lens. Correct me if I'm wrong. Why is that 50-200 not an innovation in terms of, I don't know, lens is equally as important, right? Without lens, you can't take a photograph, right? Yeah. You serious, HL 7-14? Obviously not. That's not the lens I use. Yeah, I'm not gonna review what lens. Yeah, I'll tell you what lens that is when the video came out. You will know because Lily's. I don't shoot portraits of a beautiful model very often, right? So when the video comes out, you'll know what lens it is, right? So yeah. David says, I only own an Olympus camera and lenses, not interested in Panasonic, but I understand Panasonic not investing in micro four thirds will affect the market overall interest in the system. Any reason why you don't like Panasonic at all? I think both Panasonic and Olympus or Digital Solutions now, they complement each other. There are lenses that Panasonic have that Olympus or Digital Solutions do not have. For example, the lens that I do use a lot and I find very useful is the 9 f1.7. It is just wide enough for most of my wide angle shooting, and I really appreciate the f1.7 bright aperture, especially when I shoot in low light. And that lens is weather sealed, which is fantastic, right? And micro four thirds, when it comes to OM Solutions or Olympus, they just don't have that lens. Another lens that I really appreciate is the 15 1.7. I know it doesn't really equate 28 millimeters equivalent, it's more like 30, but I use that lens like I'm using a 28 equivalent, and you're seeing me through that lens now, the 15 1.7. I think it's an excellent lens in terms of rendering, in terms of sharpness, in terms of overall image quality, and the size is so small. It's so tiny, right? And I love small lenses, and Panasonic has that lens, and Olympus or Digital Solutions just do not have that lens. And there are other lenses there and here, like if you need a 200 f2.8, Olympus or Digital Solutions, they don't have the 200 f2.8. They have 300. They have other lenses. They just don't have that particular lens. And they also come up with some really cool lenses like 10 to 25 f1.7. 25 to 50 f1.7. I know that you may not need these lenses, but I can see why these lenses are important, and I appreciate that Panasonic makes these lenses, and it just makes the entire micro four thirds ecosystem more complete and more enticing, right? With all these choices, and choices are never a bad thing, right? So yeah. So there you go. Dan says, having access to both Panasonic and Olympus lenses is awesome because it's the best of both worlds. Body-wise, I use only Olympus, but lenses, I have both of them. Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't really matter whether you use Olympus or OM system or Panasonic lenses. It doesn't really matter, right? As long as you choose the right body that works for you, because I guess both Panasonic and OM system, they have weaknesses, they have strengths. It depends on what you do as a photographer or videographer, so you get the gear or the camera that suits your own intended use, your use case scenario, right? And it's just nice that they have all these different lenses to choose from because, hey, the more lenses we have, the better, right? Yeah. On the other hand, Gregory says, Robert Frank does very well with single photographs. Yeah, but still, series. I always push for series because your work will be stronger and has higher chance to be published if it's shown in a series. Like if you want to go for National Geographic, like they don't really accept a single photograph, right? So there you go. Grace says, in general, I agree, and I'm looking forward to stretching my abilities to tell a story with a small set of judiciously chosen images. I think ultimately it's not about like I don't want to be the guy who will like to tell people, hey, you have to do this, you have to do that. We'll try our best to encourage you to be you during the workshop, right? We'll try our best we will look at what you can do. We'll look at what you have already done, it will try to push you to the right direction and try to encourage you to do your own thing. And based on what you already have, it will try to fit them into a meaningful story. And we'll have reviews every day. Every day we're going to go through what kind of photographs you've taken, and we're going to give you some feedback based on our own different perspectives and experience. And hopefully you'll improve on the next day, try to see things a little bit differently and capture as much as you can. And we'll try to come up with a story that everyone will enjoy at the end of the day, right? So yeah, Robert Frank, yeah. Swamp Hicks says, will you be getting the 50 to 200? I don't know. I'll have to try it first. But I don't have the need for the lens though. Like currently I'm enjoying the 75 1.8 a lot. And for the work that I do, mostly event photography, stage photography, I don't deal with large stages. I don't shoot stadiums, right? Or like conventions halls or anything. Even I've shot a convention hall recently, but I use the 40 to 150R. It's good enough. I'm going to make another video talking about why the 40 to 150R is such an amazing lens. You know, it's underrated. And yeah, I find that this 75 1.8 is already more than sufficient for most of the telephoto needs that I do for my professional shoots, my clients. It's already 150 equivalent, and being the official photographer, you get to go close. I can move nearer, and I find that between the 45 1.8 and 75 1.8, I've got all the shots that I need, right? And I've shared a lot of the photographs that I've shot on the events and mini concerts, stage events that I've done before. I've shared them previously, right? So yeah. Gregory says, just pull out the latest National Geographic. Lots of single images presented within the context of a written story. Yeah. I think like story is one thing. We have to be very careful though, because I've seen a lot of, it's a trap. A lot of people, they emphasize on the story, and without the story, the photograph is nothing. And I would like it to be the reverse. The story itself has to be, the photograph itself has to be good enough without the story, without the written story. Because a lot of people try to be very fancy, and they type like really long, really like beautiful and overhyped caption, right? And when you look at a caption and a photograph, they have nothing to do with each other. They are trying to sell you the story, and then hopefully you love what you read, and then you love the image, right? But that's not how it's supposed to work. If you look at the image of the caption, it's supposed to already work without you reading the caption, right? So yeah. Gary says, I have nothing but room for improvement. No, you're too humble. I think I don't want people to think of themselves so lowly, and you know, like we're all different photographers, and it doesn't mean that, you know, like I'm better than you, you're better than me. I don't see it that way. I'm more like it's more like me, Matty, and Peter, we've been doing this for a while, and we have certain way of doing things. We just want to share these tools with you guys so that you guys can use these tools to do whatever you want with it, and hopefully you guys can capture some meaningful photographs. And ultimately, your photographs are yours. They're not mine. And my photographs are mine. They're not yours. And we just want to encourage you to do more and enjoy and hopefully improve in some meaningful ways. And if you can, then it's a win-win for everyone, right? So yeah. David says, you're right. I do own the 51.7. I love that lens. It is really cool, right? Like, so for most of the videos that I do, it's usually the Olympus 45 1.8. When you see my talking head with a nice blurry background, and then a lot of the close-ups and the B-rolls of the products that I'm showing, whether it's a lens or the camera that I'm showing in my hand, it's always the 15 1.7. So I used only these two lenses to make my YouTube videos, the Panasonic 15 1.7 and the Olympus 45 1.8. So yeah. Just realized I've subscribed to National Geographic for 37 years. That's awesome. Fun fact, I am actually friends with the National Geographic editor-in-chief in Thailand. So, well, we don't have National Geographic in Malaysia. It just shows how the difference of the different level of photography maturity between Malaysia and Thailand. Thailand has a National Geographic office in Thailand, right? It's National Geographic Thailand. So the magazine that they produce monthly is all in Thai, so I can't read that. But I'm friends with the editor, and yeah, I look forward to going to Bangkok and meeting him. The last time I was in Bangkok, he invited me for a rooftop party. It's a private party. Dinner party. I was so sad because I couldn't go. I've already made arrangements to meet my ex Olympus boss. He's a Japanese. I worked for him in Malaysia for many years. So I went to Thailand. I visited that ex-boss just to say hi and catch up, and it clashed with that dinner party, the rooftop party that that my National Geographic editor friend was throwing. So I was kind of sad. I'll find him some other time. So a lot of things that I have to learn from him. He is not stingy with sharing. That guy has a lot of experience. He has seen a lot. And he's worked with a lot of photographers, young and old, not just in Thailand, but everywhere in the world. He knows people. He has seen a lot. So there's a lot that I can learn from him as well. So yeah, he's such an amazing guy. So yeah. Gary says, I used to be a good photographer. You are a good photographer. What do you mean by you used to be a good photographer? Come on, Gregory. I definitely no. I blame you. Don't blame your children. Come on, like poor children, hoping to recover, learn photography now. I think photography is like riding a bike, right? Like you don't lose it. You just have to, like, I can understand that you don't have the groove anymore. Like getting back to rhythm is not easy, but like after you do it a little bit more, you'll get it back. Like, I don't think anyone will ever lose their photography. Like if you had it before, I'm sure you have it in you. You just have to bring it out, right? So yeah, if you are a good photographer, I believe you. You are a good photographer. Don't blame your children, Gregory. Poor children. Oh well. So yeah. Chai is talking to Greg, says 37 years. I remember going to the thrift store and grabbing issues for a few quarters. Yeah. Definitely, I think of a lot of photography subscriptions or things that you can consume. I think National Geographic, they really do tell compelling stories, and the work that they do, the photographs that they share, they're of certain level of quality, right? Like, and it's not like anyone can be a National Geographic photographer. It's not that easy. Speaking of which, since we don't have a lot of chat here and we still have a bit of time to kill, there was like a Malaysian recently, I forgot his name, made the headlines. He claimed that he's been appointed as a National Geographic photographer, and he was on an assignment to Kenya. Was it Kenya or some other? Was it? Sorry, could have been another African country. I don't have the full details, but so there was a Malaysian, and he claimed that he was hired by National Geographic to do an assignment in Africa, and the news made headlines, right? Sony sponsored him a new camera and lens for his assignment. A local political party came in and donated like $10,000 for him for his trip. And I think a lot of people came forward and congratulated him, and he made headlines to all the major newspapers and publications everywhere in Malaysia. Like a Malaysian, finally a Malaysian made it to become a National Geographic photographer. And he flew all the way to Africa to do his assignment, and then only later to be questioned. One of the publications local publication in Malaysia, went and checked to verify with National Geographic directly and say, hey, National Geographic, do you have this Malaysian in your database? Is he your photographer? And you guess what? National Geographic replied and said, no, we have no idea who this guy is. So we still don't really know what happened. So there were two possibilities. One, the photographer that claimed to be appointed by National Geographic was genuinely innocent, that he was scammed, so there was a scammer at work. But then again, that's the question, right? If it's really a scam, then how have you not met the person who is hiring you? Have you not seen the person in video call conference? Have you not met your employer? How about the payment, the discussion of payment? Like, how much are you being paid? How about the arrangements in Africa? Like, if it's really a scam, then who were you meeting in Africa? Like, where are you going? What the hell are you doing, right? What are the terms? And are you just going to fly off without signing a contract? Like, there must be a black and white, right? So that's the first possibility, that he's really scammed. He was being cheated. Second possibility is he is the scammer. Like he just used a fake letter claiming that, hey, National Geographic appointed me, and like he's asking money, asking for sponsorship from everywhere. Sony Malaysia was duped. Sony Malaysia believed his story and gave him a camera and lens to use. Like God knows how much money they spent there, and tens of thousands of dollars were poured into this guy. And but he didn't run away. So I want to believe in the best in people. So the fact that he did not run away, like he didn't just disappear with the money and camera lens, shows that yeah, maybe he really was that naive and he was cheated. So he was being cheated. So I don't know. I guess only he knows the true story, like whether he's really being, like being cheated or I don't know. We don't really know what happened. So this was one of the things that happened here. I think it was a month ago, I guess. So it's not that easy, right? You want to be a National Geographic photographer, you just apply. It doesn't work that way, right? Gary says, our neighbors in Port Dickson in the 60s had a whale-sized bookshelf full of National Geographic magazines. I used to sit on the floor reading them while the parents drank and smoked and conversed. Wow! That must have been like a lot of photographs to consume, right? Man, this is like a treasure trove. Dan says, I'll forever have a soft spot for National Geographic magazines, those classic yellow covers. I know, right? Yeah, Nat Geo, even the old magazines from like 20, 30, 40 years ago, they still look good, right? The photos still look amazing, yeah. Gar says, OIM1 was good enough for Nat Geo, good enough for me. National Geographic took OIM1s to top like Mount Everest. I asked OIM rep how cameras were modified. None, not at all. I'm not sure if this guy is still an OIM ambassador, Jay Dickman. I've bought his beginner's book when he was an Olympus ambassador, and he inspired me to really do photography. And the day came when I became an Olympus ambassador. I was like, wow! I started photography by reading an Olympus ambassador's book, and at that time I thought, wow, now I am an Olympus ambassador. Like, full circle. It's pretty cool. Though I've never met or communicated with Jay Dickman before. Is he still an OIM ambassador? Let me just check his Instagram if I can. Well, he was, right? Not on his website. His website didn't say that he's involved with Olympus or OIM system. Let's search Jay Dickman. Nope. I guess he's no longer an OIM system ambassador, right? Because if he is, then he will put OIM system ambassador, but it's not on his handle on the Instagram page. So I guess he's no longer, doesn't really matter. He still took like amazing shots with Olympus and OIM system cameras. So yeah. Stock OIM1S went to Everest. I'm sure they can survive. Why not? David says, what do you think a good shutter count is to change an Olympus camera? I've heard it's around 100K, but I heard you can go much higher than that. I think EM1X is rated like 300K. I think OIM1, OIM Mark II is rated 300K, if I'm not wrong. So you're safe to go until 300, 400,000. If you can use, like I've heard people change when their shutter finally broke and they finally went to the service center. It's not about Olympus or OIM system, right? Talking about Canon and Nikon cameras. They had like 800,000 clicks or more than 1 million clicks. And I've also heard cameras that fail within 1,000 clicks. So, it's you change it when it breaks. You don't have to change it before it breaks, right? So, yeah. The first picture they put on his website, incredible. Yeah, that's the Olympus ambassador that I followed for the longest time. He takes some really inspiring images, and he is a National Geographic photographer. I'm not sure if still is, but he was very heavily involved with National Geographic. So, yeah. Nick says, fake it till you make it. Yeah, I guess like I don't know, my journey in photography, I don't really care about being an ambassador or not. It doesn't really, I mean, if it comes, it comes. It has its perks. I get access to all the cameras and lenses. So, and I get to work with other photographers. I get to travel. I get to get more involved with the industry, right? Which is something that I will forever be appreciative of, because like I work with people, I get to know people, and at the end of the day, it's a network that's really important. And yeah, I get to do something that matters. I would like to think that. And yeah, I feel like the work that I've done as ambassador, it was the community they really appreciate it, not just in Malaysia, like the people that I was on ground with in real person. I've done workshops, photo walks, photo sharing, touch and try events. Like I can genuinely see that people do care about what I do and they appreciate what I do. And also like what I've done here on the YouTube and on my blog, I've managed to connect with people from all over the world. So whether I'm an ambassador or not, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's the work that matters, right? I still continue to do what I do. And yeah, I'm not an ambassador anymore, but hey, I'm not stopping. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. I'm still shooting. I'm still sharing. I'm still here on this live stream talking to you guys. And you guys are still here. And I think at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? So yeah. Gregory says maybe start looking at a new camera when you reach 300k, but use it till it breaks. Use it till it breaks. Doesn't really matter. Gigiola says, Tinesh, yeah, the Malaysian photographer that was duped. Yeah, Tinesh, poor guy. If he really is honest, then yeah, like, dude, don't you think you should at least check with your employer? Like, see the contract, or did you even sign a contract? Did you even know what you're going to get paid? Like, how you're going to get paid? And you know, it's really funny, right? You're going to be sent on an assignment and you are using your own money. Like, don't you think that's suspicious? I don't know. There's so many questions. Anyway, not a story I want to talk about. I thought we have time, so let's talk a bit. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. With that, I think we'll end the live stream for tonight. You're being too kind, Gregory, ambassador for photography. I just want to encourage people to do photography, have fun. That's the main agenda here. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the discussion for tonight. I think it is deeply concerning that Panasonic has not launched any new products for more than a year. In the year 2025, it is coming to an end now. It's October. We don't have any new cameras and lenses from Panasonic. Hopefully, they have not given up on Micro Four Thirds, because I think Panasonic is a very important player and contributor to the Micro Four Thirds ecosystem. Hopefully, what Santix is saying is correct, that they're going to come up with something next year for Micro Four Thirds. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the short photo sharing session with Lily as the model, with the mystery lens. The answer to the lens will be revealed soon, so don't worry about that. The video is coming. I have not made the video yet. I have to make the video first. The video has not existed yet. So yeah, give me some time. I'm going to review the answer. So yeah, and with that, I hope to see you guys next week. Please go out and take more photographs. For members, tomorrow night, I'm going to see you guys. Tomorrow night, members only live stream. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.